As we move further down the page, you'll see that I've set up a number of links in this last paragraph. And if we look in the corresponding code here, let me bring this up, I want to point out some things about how links are created in HTML. And to help you fully appreciate the path in a link, which is all of the code here that's in blue, I want you to first take a look at the structure of the site that I've created over here. So notice that we're currently looking at the index page. And I'm going to switch the order of my files so that index is on the top here. So I have an index page that's open, and then I have a page 2 file in the same folder at the same level, we would say, in this website. Then I have a subfolder called pages, and inside that I have a file called page 3. Inside that I have a subfolder called page 4 with a file called page4.html. So with that structure in mind, let's look at how these different links were created. The link to page 2 is relatively straightforward, comparatively. If you look in the code here, when I highlight page 2, it's surrounded by a tag that starts with ahref. That is the tag used to create links. Anytime you create a link, you're going to have an ahref tag. So get used to looking for that if you're trying to find links in your HTML code. If you're linking to a page that's in the same folder as the page you're starting from, the link should look like this. It's simply the name of the other file. If, however, you're linking to a page that's in a subfolder, like page 3, then the path will include the name of that subfolder as well. So as you see here, pages/page3 is telling the browser to go from the page we're currently on into a folder called pages to find a document called page3.html when someone clicks on that link. If you create a link from your index page to this page 4 page, notice here in the code that now we're going through 2 subfolders to get to that document. So we're telling the browser to go into the pages folder and then into the page 4 folder inside that folder to get to page4.html. And here you can see that path from index into pages, into page 4 to page4.html. Now, I should give you the caveat that if you use site root linking, and you may or may not remember, but when you define a site, and I'll just choose edit for a moment to show you this, you have a choice to make your links relative to the document or relative to the site root. Think of the main folder and everything at the top level of that main folder as the site root. If you choose relative to document, then you're saying instruct the browser to go from this file to that file. And if I were to go then from this file back to that file, I would want to create a path that's relative from this document to that document. If you choose site root, then the path is always going to start at the root level and go down to the individual page. Keep that in mind as I show you what the path looks like in a link that goes from a subdirectory up to a higher level in the same site. So we've got a link from our index page to our page 4 file that includes the name of both subdirectories. If this were set to site root, then the only difference in this link would be that at the beginning of it there would be a / like that. And when you use site root, all of your links will start with that /, which tells the browser to go back up to the top of the site before it goes down to the page it's trying to find. That becomes more important when you're looking at links from a page like page 3 back up to our home page. If you're creating relative links, then the code to move up a directory, meaning to go from page 3 up a folder level to page 2 or page 1, is .. Now, that may not mean much to you, but just trust me on this. .. in browser talk means look for a page up one level or up one folder. If I open up page 4, you'll see that going up to page 2 would require going up 2 directory levels. That's .. Fortunately, you don't have to worry too much about this. Dreamweaver takes care of this for you. But I want you to have a general understanding of the path to links. And as a general rule, this is how they work. If you're using relative links, relative to document, there'll be a .. when you're going from a page in a subdirectory up to a page at a higher level. If this were set to site root, then the path to get to page 2 would just be /page 2, telling the browser, go up to the top level of the site and you'll find page 2. The link to page 3 would be /pages page 3. It would look like this. Because again, it would be telling the browser to go to the root level of the site, down into the pages folder to page3.html. If we're relative, then that link is .. Aren't you glad now that Dreamweaver takes care of that for you? In the old days, we used to have to keep track of all of that in our own heads and make sure that we had the right number of .. slashes, or that we always had the slash at the beginning if we're doing site root. What I want you to get out of this lesson is not that you have to memorize a whole lot of tags or remember exactly how to set the path in a link. I want you to get out of this lesson that if you change something and a link is broken, you can go into the code and find where it is and start to troubleshoot what the problem might be. And I want you to get used to the idea that sometimes when you're trying to change something on a page or fix something that doesn't quite make sense in design view, it's easier to do so in the code.